Okay, y'all. Good morning. Welcome to the Queen Andrea Antoinette Jones channel. And if there are any of you who do not know who I am, who are watching these videos in the United States or anywhere all over the world, I know they know who I am in the United States. So this is really for my global viewers. And I am praying for more global viewers. We need to come together who are of this same bloodline all over the world. This is the will of God. So let me go ahead and get into what this video is about. And let you know a little bit about my heritage first. So I am African and I'm American by citizenship. I was born in Chicago, Illinois, 1990, December 21st. So I am African American and I'm also Indian. So right now I'm being persecuted in America by the Americans. So my country is doing this to me. And they're trying to cover it up. So let me tell y'all about where I am right now. I don't want to show too much about the houses, because I don't want people saying that I'm showing their properties. And so you saw just the top of a house. You cannot identify the exact neighborhood that I'm in, and that's very sinister for people to want me to be in all these different neighborhoods and setting me up in this country to be harmed about my evidence about my pregnancy. I am with child, and I have been pregnant with this child for 3 years, and I'm being persecuted across the nation. So I'm in a neighborhood. I cannot disclose my location because then I could have this video removed by someone who is involved, who would say that they're not involved and that they would not like for their family faces or neighborhoods or properties to be disclosed, which leaves me very vulnerable right now in the United States of America as an African American Indian woman who is pregnant, being persecuted, and I have a lawsuit against the United States government. Yeah, but I did not show the full property. And I do have some right to film where I go because they film everything that they want to do. They film me on the streets being persecuted without my permission. So let me tell y'all. So I was at the bus stop last night, and these people are going to drive up who allowed me to stay in their home. I've walked about the equivalence of about 5 blocks from their home. And they're going to pretend like they don't know who I am. And I do not want them stopping me while I'm making this video. They're going to probably try to say something to me. There's a bluebird. I blow kisses at those beautiful birds for good luck. And I believe that they do bring me good luck. Every time I see one, I'm telling something specific that they don't want me to tell. So they're trying to see if I'm going to tell on them right now. And I am, and I'm not going to come back to their home. I'm going to just continue to be outside and put out the evidence about my case. But I need to tell what they just tried, what they're pulling, because they've been doing this to me since I left the jail across the nation. So these people brought me into this neighborhood last night from the bus stop after I said I wanted to file a lawsuit against the Salvation Army that staged to have me out of the Salvation Army so that I could be gang raped. And that's what they're still trying to continue to do. But these people are about to drive up from down this long road and say that I don't want them stopping me while I'm making this video either, because they're going to come past me. And they know that I'm going to be telling about what took place since they picked me up and what their excuse is for allowing me to walk all the way up this hill and ride right past me. That's when I was like, no, I need to tell the truth about what's going on. So I was at the bus stop. God told me just to trust in him and don't worry about what they're trying to do to me in the country. So I laid at the bus stop, and I did not care about being outside because I started getting the evidence together because they erased one of my channels. So with the evidence on there. So I started getting the evidence, and my phone is tapped, and they were all around the gas stations, and I already knew that these men were watching me. And so when the man came up to me, I was working on this evidence, and every time I'm releasing something that's more information, then they have someone try to come and distract me and claim to want to be trying to help, but not doing what it really is that God said that they need to be doing that really would be helping. And so it's a cover-up. It's a front. So I want to expose it. I'm going to expose it right now. And it's not going to be a problem again with them trying it again, because people are going to know what they're doing. So that's why I'm not going to be afraid of them riding past in this vehicle. And I'm going to keep making my video and I'm telling them that I don't want to ride and that I don't want to talk right now, that I'm working on something about my son and my and I'm not going to tell them that part. So let me just go ahead and make sure that I know how to get out of this creepy fucking neighborhood. Okay. So, basically, the man came up to me and was like, hey, I see you at the bus stop, beautiful woman. What's your situation? So they have them coming up to me like they do not know who I am. So they have them coming up to me after they're doing these operations all over me. They know that I know. They know that I know. Come on. So it's like you're persecuting me by making me have to even speak with these individuals who are continuously, relentlessly trying to pretend like they do not know who I am in this country. And my YouTube channel that they removed had over 30,000 views. And they were viewing it all over the country, and they erased it, and I started another one. And I'm going to continue to get the information out, no matter how many times they all tried to pretend like they didn't know who I was, while erasing my channels with their views. So then they come swarming around me from all of the states and have people coming up to me pretending like they don't know who I am and bringing me to locations. So basically, the man said, oh, well, what's your situation and what's your name? So the Holy Spirit gets very loud inside of me when they ask me my name, because they know my name. My name is Andrea Jones, and they call me Jones in the jail where they tried to murder me. So my name is Andrea Jones, and they know who I am all over this nation. They all know who I am. And so when you get your fame from going through the system of things, then yes, people will acknowledge you. But when they're trying to cover up stuff and they all know who you are, then they will try to pretend like they don't know who you are. And so that is very sinister, and I'm a woman, and that's a setup. So he was pretending like he did not know who I was, and so I just told him my name, and he told me his name, and he said, oh, well, what happened? I told him, well, I had an extended stay. I said my child father was abusing me. I had to come here. I got in the shelter, but they were staging stuff with because I wasn't like the drug addict type, because that's all they had in there. That's all they had in there were dusty women who were on drugs. And there I was coming with a case, being pregnant. Talk to Ms. Yarborough. I could not remember her name because Rochelle Frazier was the woman that they assigned as my program director after they put me in the shelter, and she was wearing a platinum blonde wig, heavy set black woman. She was acting like, the mammy character for the whites, and she was trying to belittle me and stop me from putting out evidence about my son, even though I was not speaking about the evidence in their facility. I would walk away when it was time for us to leave the shelter, and I would sit somewhere and work on my evidence with them preying on me with the United States government from the Salvation Army. And then Rochelle would call me in her office and tell me, we want to take your focus off of your case and get you a lawyer, when the lawyers refuse to represent me, and I already know what I'm dealing with. I don't have to work, and I don't have to go through their legal system. I do not have to go through their lawyers' and get free aid. I do not have to work or get a job for these people. I have a lawsuit and I need medical care. So for Rochelle to be saying, well, you need to get a job, I'm trying to help you. That has nothing to do with what God said. God said, do not let these people take your focus off of the fact that they poisoned you and this child for 10 months in the jail and let you out like that and threaten to rape your son. You do not work for them right now. There was a time when I got down here that God said I could have got a job and my ID went missing and my identification is missing when I was trying to have a job. And then when I did agree to meet with people to get a job and still work on my evidence, they staged to have me out. So I told Rochelle, yeah, you're right. I can let you help me get a lawyer and I'll get a job. So you don't, I agreed with her. And I said, but I'll still find time to work on my case. And that's when she tried to fight me and kicked me out of the shelter. And the men were trying to sex traffic me outside of the shelter. They were allowing the men to come into the shelter to try to surveil me inside of the shelter. I was trying to talk about some of my evidence outside, and they had men coming around trying to make a lot of noise on the videos. They had people trying to stage altercations with me. I made a video saying that I was going to have to leave the shelter in order to get the evidence out. They had people from the state coming inside of the shelter and messing with my food. And so I told Ms. Yarborough, when I first came to the shelter, they would not take me in. They claimed that they were not doing intake that day. I made videos putting them on blast. It's a white male with curly hair walking towards me right now. And I'm just saying, because they're not giving me any privacy while I'm trying to release this information. And now the people I think are driving up behind me. No, that's not them. So, but yes. And he's going to be listening to what I'm saying because of these operations. And I'm of God, so I'm going to shed light on everything that they are trying to do. And I got to find my way out of this neighborhood. Okay, yeah. That's where the Hispanics were outside eating. The Holy Spirit showed me that would happen, that they would be outside eating and celebrating while they were doing this to me. He said that they would be trying to leave me outside and let men from Hollywood try to shoot me after people would have me coming out their homes, and that the Hispanics would be outside celebrating and eating food while an African-American woman is being set up. So anyway, Ms. Yarborough spoke with me because I made a video saying that, because they could say that, oh, I'm harassing this person in their neighborhood by accusing them of listening, but that's what he's doing. And I have to tell the truth. So anyway, y'all see how far I have walked. But anyway, so let me go back to details about the Salvation Army. So Miss Frazier, they were trying to ask me if I had a family member who I could go and stay with, because my family is setting me up too. And I have to tell details later about my family trying to cover up my pregnancy while I was in the jail, and my family trying to cover up that they were trying to murder me in the jail, and having my channel removed after I released a lot of information about why my family is involved. And so they wanted me to go and stay with a family member so they could try to discredit me about my evidence, like my aunt tried to do in Arkansas. And I told the lady no. She said, oh, well, we can give you assistance, we can give you money if we can get you with a family member, because they know that my family would try to discredit me in their homes. And I said, no, I came here to the shelter so I can have my independence as a woman. I don't need people around me like that who would try to hinder me from putting out my evidence. And that was why they're speeding like they're gonna hit me. And that was why I came to the shelter, so that I can have my independence away from Americans, away from having to be in their homes. Family, I don't want to be in their homes putting out this evidence when they can be wicked enough to try to stop me. I do not want to be in anyone's home that would try to hinder me. So let me just go ahead and say, so I told them that no, I didn't have any family, and my family had already known I was on the streets, so there would be no reason for them to be suddenly trying to pretend like they would want me to come into their homes, because I was releasing the information about what happened to me online now, because my family was going to go along with it while nobody knew what was happening. So when I started my YouTube channel, then everybody found out, and my family was trying to silence me, and they wanted me to go to my family and try to pretend like they didn't, like they wanted to help. But my family, I hadn't even spoken to them. That was just a suggestion of the Salvation Army, and I said, no, I came here to get the assistance that I'm supposed to get, and that's allowing me to stay in the shelter. So she said, okay, I'll put you in the 30-day program, and then you start paying after that. And then I was like, cool. So they just kept harassing me all over the property about my evidence and trying to slick starve me and then put me out, trying to fight me after I released a video saying that I was about to have to leave because of what they were doing. And so I ended up having to go with men who tried to make me have sex with them and lay in their beds, and I ran from their locations, and I had to walk like this on foot several miles. And then I met a man named Marcus Mitchell at the West End Mall, and he was saying that he had an apartment complex and that he would bring me into the apartment, and he made me have sex with him, and he was actually staged to try to stop me from putting out the evidence and try to harm me. So anyway, back to this individual who brought me here. So he said that he didn't know who I was and that he lived right down the street with a roommate, and he needed to call the roommate and see if it was okay for me to stay. I told him that I was abused. I didn't tell him that I was pregnant because they don't want me to say that they know. I'm busy. I'm busy. Yeah, this is my business. It's a case about my children. And if you're working, I'm on a phone call right now. I'm handling business right now. And he's turning around and he's making a U-turn. And I just said, I'm busy. Just like if I was on a phone call for my job. I'm at work right now, and you need to respect that. And that's exactly what I'm going to tell him. I'm at work right now because they know I'm working by putting out this evidence about my case where no lawyer in the country would. And so it's a lot of information, and I realized when I was working on the evidence a little bit last night, I said this is a lot for any lawyer because I have all the information because it's my life, and I have all the evidence because it's my life. So it would take a lawyer to organize it. I can give them all the information, but in order for them to organize the information would be a little task, and it would leave out very key details about who all is involved. But I can organize the information because I have the brain that knows each and every occurrence that has happened since I left the jail. So I'm going to represent myself right now until I make one of these black women represent me in this country, because God said that I have the evidence, I'm innocent, and she's going to represent me and not be afraid of these people. So anyway, the man brought me, he said that he had a roommate. He needed to call the roommate and see if it was okay. I told him about the extended stay, and I told him that my child father was abusing me, and I came here. They staged up to have me out of the shelter, and I told him that I couldn't afford to pay for the extended stay. And so he said, okay, well, you're too pretty to be out here. He was like, let me call him. He said, but I'm married, but my wife is not staying there with me. He said, but my roommate is single, and it's up to him to see if he'll let you come inside and stay. And the roommate said, he called the roommate on the phone. I talked to him. He told him everything on the phone, like they don't know who I am, and introduced themselves to me on the phone. And he said it was okay. And I said, well, let them know that I'll leave when y'all go to work, you know what I'm saying, so that, y'all will feel comfortable. And the roommate was like, well, tell her she has to go when we go to work, and that she could stay the night. And so I went to their house, and, we were chilling, and I was working on the evidence. And they were just talking to me, and the man that brought me there kept on trying to distract me from my phone. He kept being nice, but he just kept on trying to make it seem like I needed to put my phone down. And I'm working on this evidence from my phone. And I told him after a while, after he kept on, I almost snapped on him. because I know what they're trying to do. And I said to him, I'm working from my phone. And I told him about my birth certificate. The man was like, well, can she pay me money to live here? Like, I don't have to pay you anything with my situation that I'm in, with what they're trying to do to me in America. I don't have to pay anybody anything with my situation. I don't have to pay them. So he tried to ask me if I had money to pay them, which is a reasonable question when people are pretending like they don't know, but they know. So, yeah, they know what's going on. They know what's going on. So, with them asking me, but I had to pretend like, he didn't know, just so I could get this thing. And so, because it's skits and scripts that they're doing. And so, he said, will I be able to pay him? And they know that I cannot pay. They know that I have no money. They're staging it and setting it up that way as well. So the man said, I told the man I don't have an ID, and I need help to get the ID. That the Georgia state, my license is in Georgia. I got my license here when I was 18. I went to the DDS office by myself. I called, and then I went up there with Marcus Mitchell after he fled to Texas, and then said that I needed to bring her my birth certificate in order for her to issue me my ID, even though she has me in the system and I have my Social Security. And she says she's the manager from the DDS office of the Georgia Driver Services, but I don't have an ID, so I can't get into the shelter. And she knows that. And I cannot get a job, and she knows that. I cannot have income, and so they're not allowing me to stay in their homes long enough to receive my birth certificate at an address. And then they're having people target me while I'm out here. And then they're trying to stop me from putting out my evidence, and they're tearing up my body, tearing up my clothes, tearing up my suitcases, tearing up everything, making me spend all of any money that I have out here in these streets. And then trying to have me and pick me up and sex traffic me. And that goes back to the lawsuit from the Salvation Army. And so the man said, oh, he have a wife, so they set it up to make it seem like he got a wife, he don't want me, because I've been telling that they were gang raping me. So now they had him say, oh, well, I didn't try to come on to you, did I? And I didn't try to have sex with you, did I? Because they're trying to cover up for the Americans and make it look like they're helping me and bringing me into their houses, and that I'm just lying about what's going on and what they did to me in Texas. And so this, like the man, they even have them trying to play gospel music because they know that I'm saying Jehovah is helping me and Jesus is helping me, and that he's working against America on my behalf, because they're doing this to me. They're lying for the whites, and they're doing wickedness with them. So now they don't want to get in trouble either, because they said they would molest my child and murder my child with the whites. So now they're afraid for themselves. But let me just go back to this man. And so they gave me some food to eat last night that he said he got from his job. And I really don't want to eat anything that they're really giving to me. I need my own money because of the pregnancy, and I should not be eating food that they're giving me. And that's not that I'm ungrateful, because you can't try to pay me out to be this homeless person and then try to give me food, and you're trying to harm me. And so let me go back to God said they were doing stuff to my chicken at the Salvation Army. God said that they made it toxic and then fed it to me. And I know he's not lying, because I did end up seeing something wrong with the food, and God let me know she wasn't tripping. And so anyway, basically the man gave me some food. I slept on the couch. I was so tired that I could not even take a shower. I was so tired from walking miles like this that I could not even plug up my phone to charge my phone. And y'all know how bad I be needing my phone charged. Like, I literally talked with them a minute and just passed out on the couch asleep. They gave me a little blanket that I asked that, they gave me a blanket because I was covering with my coat, because I'm outside covering up with my coat at night at the bus stops. After being staged again in Atlanta to be outside, they have staged several different times to have me outside in Atlanta and in Arkansas and all over Texas, because they want to target me about the evidence. And they know if I can stay in their houses comfortably without anybody bothering me, with food, able to lie down with everything I need, a little money to the side, whatever, they know that I will put out this evidence and I can prove my case and get the help that I need from other countries, from people outside of the country to come here who are of my bloodline. And God said I have that right because they're of my bloodline. And it's not a terrorist tactic, but just like if you were someone of another ethnicity and they were doing something to you, you would want your people to come here and represent you. And it doesn't matter if I was torn from my people through slavery, I'm still their bloodline. And God said that they owe it to him because he's gonna do it. Not that they owe him anything, but that he's gonna do it. Because it's not right what these African Americans are trying to do with these whites. And these whites are not my bloodline. I'm African and Indian, but I'm from the tribe of Israel. I'm from the tribe of Judah. Something about, yeah, I'm African, yeah, I'm Indian, but somewhere in that bloodline, we are somewhere from the bloodline of God's bloodline. And he said he was from the tribe of Judah, so that's what I am. And the witches said something about me being also from the tribe of Zebulun or something like that, doing witchcraft on me. But I believe what God said, and he told me that I was something about his bloodline. And anyway, so the man said, so while I was in the house, he said, they were asking me, they were playing gospel music, and they're not really Christians. They are actually Freemasons, and they are playing church music in the church, and they're even setting me up from the churches as well out here. They are allowing men to walk all around their church properties and try to harm me around the hotels that they had me staying at. And they were shutting down the churches when they shut down the country and were chasing me around Texas. And that's where they first shut down the country, was when I was in Texas. And they set up roadblocks. They had me passing out all on the highway, all on the side of the road. It got 387 views on YouTube, and they erased the channel. But I still have that evidence that the video was there. Wow, that channel got 30,000 views, and on the about section it said what my case was about, that I was pregnant and what they did to me, and they erased it. And so let me pull down my dress. So I washed my clothes there, and they were trying to behave very, very nice to me. I could tell that they knew who I was and that they were pretending. And this morning I woke up, hurried, and started getting in the shower. And I need somewhere to be able to lie down during the day. And so they had people putting me out. And he said, oh, well, I don't know you like that, and you might steal my stuff. They know who I am. And I told him, I said, yeah, well, if I didn't know a person and if they were a stranger, yeah, I wouldn't want them in my house either. And I just went along with it so I could stay somewhere for the night. But no, I'm not going back there, because every time I expose them, they make the person kick me out anyway. So I'm going to just go on ahead and just leave and not come back after how they just treated me. And so basically, that's some discrediting bullshit. That's some people trying to discredit you about stuff. So anyway, I'm going to tell you what they did. So when I got up this morning, I was in the shower and I hurried and was trying to get myself together, and they was coming in the bathroom trying to rush me out. The man said he needed to wash his face, and I almost was finished and I was coming out, and they was rushing me, and I was throwing my stuff in the backpack trying to hurry and get out the restroom while he was waiting outside, waiting right there by the door with his face towel. For me to be throwing my stuff in my bag like that, rushing to get my stuff to hurry and leave these people home, they would have tried to have me looking so freaking bad. And I was like, oh no. And I said, I gotta find somewhere to work on the evidence. So I'm right here. And I was like, I gotta find somewhere to be able to work on this evidence. There is nowhere for me to sit down unless I sit at a MARTA's bus stop, and that's giving them too much access to me. It's giving them too much access to me. And then I'm dirty, and I'm clean now because I took a shower this morning, so they can't say that I'm outside dirty. They tried that. They tried to say that I was outside dirty. They messed up my shoes. They're messing up all of my sandals and tearing up my feet. And they know that I'm pregnant. And then they're trying to say I'm a mental patient for keep saying that I'm pregnant after all these years, but they keep trying to kill it and do these operations. So when I left the this morning when I was leaving the man home, he said his mother stay over there and she couldn't allow me to ride with them. And they made me walk all the way up the hill. And the two men rode with his mother. And then they gave me change for food, quarters, and tried to make me get on the bus to find somewhere to work on my evidence where they will harass me. But I said, I'm going to use this change for food. And they just kept trying to act like they didn't know who my son was. And I didn't tell them who my son was, but they know. They all know. And so I'm making this video. I'm not going back over there. They gave me change to eat food.